Yeah, we all know that to be true, don't we
We
though?
do indeed, don't
We
we?
do indeed. Yeah, yeah. I tell you I found a new thing. These are from My Daily Choice. They're in a snap,
Okay.
and they have them for sleep. They also have them. This is like an energy drink,
Oh, really?
and these are better than 5 hour energies for when I'm driving back and forth from yeah.
So when you get on these long drives, hey everybody,
these
we're glad
long
you're here tonight.
these long fabulous drives. But these are better. But anyway, those are cool. The only thing is the punch one is my favorite. The original the original one, no. Have you had a 5 hour energy?
I don't do those because my heart rhythm would mess up, so I stay away from those.
The 5 hour energy tastes like, oh, I can't say it. I was just gonna say something really nasty. Go for excrement or whatever you want to say. Right. It's bad.
Bad
This
taste,
is
not a
not
good,
bad.
not in a good way. We're talking about bad.
Yeah, this is not bad, and this works the same, and you don't get the big crash at the end. Anyway, that's a commercial for me.
There you go. Hi,
If you'd
Peg.
like to try them too, you contact me. I'll tell you how to get them. Hi, kids. Yeah, that's Peg. Hey, Peg. So, yeah, right. Well, we can chit chat because I do have a topic,
Yeah,
amazingly enough.
I was
Amazingly.
I was playing golf with a friend of mine today.
Oh,
Mike and I have been friends for probably 25, 30 years. We've been really close friends for the last 20. We both became state sales coordinators with Aflac down in the Houston area at the
oh,
same time.
nice.
And we try to go play when the weather's good. We try to go play golf every week. And but somehow the song, who's the group? Mick Jagger's group, Rolling Stones.
Rolling Stones.
Yeah. Now that I can't get that song out of my head. I can't get no photo phone. That's
Oh,
what
that's
I
why you
put in
put
my
it.
title tonight.
Do you guys do like in Caddyshack and like wreck the golf carts and all that, jumping them?
Well, not most days. Hi, Debbie Britt.
Hey, Debbie. Peg used a snap. I think she said she did it one time and she got shaky from it. I think she said
Yeah.
that hasn't happened to me. I've been happy with them, and I like the taste way better than 5 hour energy. So yeah.
I have a little heart rhythm issue, and I've had it since I was 30 years old. It's called a benign ectopic heartbeat. Now
Oh.
I'm breaking my own HIPAA rules and I'm sharing my stuff. How about that?
No.
But what happens is my heart will just beat, and when it
Oh.
happens, I can feel it, and it doesn't hurt. It's just an odd feeling.
Oh. Yeah.
And when I do too much caffeine, it can get to me. So I don't even touch those energy drinks.
Yeah,
It's
Peg
so
said it happened one time. She think she hadn't eaten much, and so I can see that
hey,
would happen.
Jerseyville, Illinois, put your name in there too, so we can see who you are. Glad you're here.
Yeah,
Somebody from
no,
Jerseyville.
I haven't had that problem, and I consider driving tired the same as driving drunk. It's a no go. That's a
Hmm.
no go. So I'll stop. I'll throw water in my face. I'll do the snap thing. I'll do whatever I need to do to stay awake. Or
Right.
if that doesn't work, I'm going to sleep in the van. I'm not
Well,
going to drive.
I would recommend that you drink coffee when you do it, but you don't want to drink this coffee when you're driving. So,
Yeah, that coffee, right,
hey,
right.
Andrea. Yeah, this look. This has become our tradition on the show. Hey, it's even showing up correctly. This has become our tradition from the very first episode. I had a coffee mug filled with, well, not filled, but with some bourbon in it. So,
Bourbon. Yeah. Oh, Bib, you got to ask Bib about. You met Bib. Um,
love Bill. He's a good
what
guy.
was he at the company? We all do some side hustles, and they went on a tour at the new company's owner's house, I think, or something like that. But he said he drank some like $2,000 bourbon or something.
That's
Yeah.
expensive bourbon. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't buy that. I buy the stuff that tastes good to me, but it's not expensive. I don't buy the expensive.
No. Yeah. Hey, there's Maureen. Hey, Maureen.
Hey, Maureen. Peg
So,
got me a nice bottle of bourbon when we were up in DC doing the book signing, and that was a good bottle of bourbon there. But I normally buy things like Buffalo Trace or things of that nature. Now, if I'm going to buy an expensive whiskey, it's going to be Scotch. I'll buy like Macallan 12-year-old or something like that. But I used to drink nothing but Scotch And then I've gotten away from that, and I drink bourbon now. So
I didn't even know liquor was as cheap as it is. I said that to Bib, and Bib said, "It's not cheap. It's just you were buying cheap liquor. That doesn't mean all liquor's cheap." He likes
Bibb can
Crown
cut to the
Royal,
chase, can't he?
right? Right. Yeah.
I couldn't get over how much he reminded me, and how much he looked like Woody Harrelson did. Of course, he's
Oh,
younger than Woody, I think, and so it would have been back when Woody was younger, but it looked a
oh my
lot like
God!
Woody
Don't
Harrelson.
tell him that. He'll he'll, he'll, be- he'll love that. Don't tell him.
Well, he does. My
He
favorite
thinks
Woody Harrelson show when he was on Cheers, though, and he played the guy that was from the Midwest, and just he didn't quite get the big city stuff, and it was so funny. His movies later I haven't enjoyed as much as when he played that character, but
Oh, that's funny.
yeah, but yeah, I like Bibb. Bibb was
Yeah,
so much fun that night we were signing books in DC, and it was just hilarious to me.
he's
So
funny. He was at the convention. Peg said it in Washington. That's what we were just talking about. Yeah.
right,
And
right.
Peg said, "A no-go even when you drove a Yugo." Huh, that's fine. Yeah, so driving tired is a no-go, especially when I drove the Yugo. Because I used to tell my mother, if you find out I got in a car wreck in that Yugo, send buckets and sponges because that'll be it. They won't. That'll just smeared all along the highway. That'll be it. Yeah.
Have them take the residue and paint on the side of the freeway. Lisa was here,
Well, that's nice.
and they need to have a lipstick thing doing this across the back of it.
Oh yeah, I gotta put my uh put my oh, those things I bought with the QR code, stick the stickers to add to the van.
Oh yeah,
Although when I was just at the liquor store, believe it or not, the guy says, "Is that your Avon van?" And I said, "Well, yes, it is." And he said he was looking for Skin So Soft, and I said, "Do you have your phone with you?" And
there you go.
I've got one for my Avon thing. So, yeah, I've got both of those, the blue hair and the Avon thing. So I just did Linktree. Do you already do that?
That sounds very familiar, but obviously I
Oh,
don't.
then what
It's
is
not
okay.
familiar enough that I can say yes, I do that because I don't remember.
It's $10 a month and you can put a whole bunch of links on it. So how it's important is for someone like I'm doing a bunch of hustles at the same time.
Hmm.
I can put them all on that one menu so you can see all the hustles.
That's
So
cool.
it's easier and you can have like even if you just had one hustle, but you had a link to your VIP customer group or on Facebook or a link to buy and then a separate link to sell or whatever you are doing.
Right.
Yeah. So let's try 708. Do you mind? Let's talk about
Just dive in.
the
Wait a minute. I'm getting
dive
ready.
into the,
I'm getting ready.
yeah. Oh, dive in.
And tonight's topic.
Okay. Okay. So I was reading this thing. It was actually an email soliciting business, but it's from Dr. Pam Perry. She's a publicist. And it reminded me, I see a lot of people that think this, and I call it lottery thinking
Right.
because they think one thing is going to revolutionize their business or change everything or be the one thing that makes all the difference. So anyway, what she said is it's not about one big break. It's about continuously writing your success story chapter by chapter. So for example, even if you got something really wicked big, like you got to sit down with Oprah and talk with her, unless you follow
Yeah,
that
not
with
everybody knew I sat down with Oprah. I'm kidding. I didn't really sit. Everybody's watching. I did not sit down with Oprah. All right, keep going. I'm sorry.
but
I'm so interruptive tonight.
just think, unless you promote the fact that you're on Oprah
Right.
for a long time, or you find a way to capitalize on that, next week they're going to forget you were on.
Right.
So no matter how big the one-time thing is, you have to have stuff coming down the pike on a continuous basis if you're building your brand.
Right. Anybody building, whether it's a direct sales business, whether it's an insurance industry thing, an insurance agency, whether it's a law practice like what Debbie builds and all that, everybody has to keep constantly keeping their name out there, and it's always one of those things that at first you kind of feel a little funny about it, or at least I did at first, because I grew up being told not to be braggadocious, and so I
Braggadocious.
try to keep that at heart. But you really do have to get noticed, and if you're going to grow a career, you're going to grow even inside the insurance industry. I had to get noticed, and had to make sure I was getting noticed to be able to promote. And I did that partly by doing a good job, but it was also partly by making sure that
You
I
have
just
to raise your
developed the
hand.
relationships.
Yeah, and the thing I mentioned in the green room is you have to know ahead that
Mhm.
some of the people around you, and even like husband number two, don't say it. He misunderstood. Right, thank you. He
I didn't
misunderstood.
say it.
He misunderstood that when I go around doing all this stuff, it's not. He said it was like my ego. I had a big giant
Not
ego,
about ego.
but it was building my brand. To me, there were 500,000 Avon representatives in the country. The only
Right,
way I'm going to be the best known one is if I raise my hand and say, I'm over here and
right,
keep doing stuff, being in books, being in writing articles, being on shows, as much stuff as I could do. It was all about earning the most I could earn by building myself as the brand.
right,
But you're going to get people that don't understand, and you have to be all right with that.
right.
Don't you think?
Yeah, you absolutely do, and it's in his case, it just surprises me that he felt that way because he was around you more than anybody else was, and you're like one of the most humble people I've ever known, and then and to
But
get
if you
you
don't, you can understand though, if you don't know that it's a business strategy,
right,
I guess it could, I'm trying to see it from his perspective. I
right.
guess it could be perceived as, why is she always talking about herself or whatever?
Well,
You know
I
what I mean?
understand wanting to see it from his perspective, but you're my friend, I don't know him, I don't care about his perspective.
There you go. There you go. Jump right on my
I
bandwagon.
could have said a phrase there, but I eliminated it, and it was here. I said, "No, you can't say that on this
No,
show."
I know. Let's see. I don't get mad or anything when someone feels that way. I
Right,
just look at it as they're uninformed. They don't realize that it's just a business strategy.
right.
And I'm building a brand just like anybody else builds a brand.
Yeah, and how many times
So
have you seen commercials on TV with companies and they're spending millions of dollars to keep their
doing that
name out
same
there in
thing,
front of
right?
people? It's the same process. You're
Yeah.
just doing it much less expensive. That's all it
And I
amounts
bet
to.
some of the people that are on the live here have seen me
Mhm.
do a seminar, maybe not, but I bet some of them have. And I used to say that all the time. You brought it up in the green room. I used to say relentless self-promotion.
Right,
Relentless, because you have to be relentless at it.
right,
I don't think Avon would have used me in the Rich and Famous video had I not been doing what I was doing, because how would they even
right.
know I was out here?
True.
I'm out in a little dinky town in New Hampshire. No matter what I was doing, they wouldn't have known me if I
Right.
wasn't standing on a chair going, "Oh, I
Yeah.
gotta," but I was.
It's like when, back when I was a district manager with Aflac, they had a publication they would mail out to people. It was on paper. And it's about, the field things, that were working and different human
Uh-huh.
interest kind of stuff. But I raised my hand and wrote an article for it, and it went out. And so
Nice.
that was, the same kind of idea. Number one, you have something to say. You have something to promote. You have something that's valuable to somebody else. But if you don't stand up, raise your hand and promote and do that, no one else gets to benefit from that. I get tickled. Lately, I've been on more podcasts than I can shake a stick at. You and I did a ton of them. This is
You did
going
way more already. Yeah,
crazy.
that's
Yeah,
awesome.
and it's a good crazy. I love it.
Yeah.
But what's happening is it's always out there. And if uh, you have to approach it this way. I really and truly believe, like when people read the book that you and I did together, my first book, even and this latest one with Bob, I believe it can change. If they're in sales, I know this book can change their career. I know what it did for me when I learned to do the things we taught in that book. So
Mhm.
Bob stuff, a lot of my stuff, and I won't ever get to be around them. So every time I'm on a show, if one person hears it and they grab that book and they use it and it changes their world, oh God, that's the reason to do it. And so if we make money on the book, great. If we don't, okay. It's at this stage in my life, especially, Yes. Anybody tells you they don't wanna make money on what they're working on, they're lying to you, so you can't believe that, but it's not the top factor for me. It's there are people out there I get emails, Lisa. I'm getting emails from people reading the
Oh,
book.
that's
They'll
awesome.
send
That's
me an
always
email.
good.
I don't know the person, but I'll reply back, and,
Always love that.
like, they'll ask me about how to handle a certain objection or whatever, and I'll reply back, and they're blown away. I try to be a whole lot like Bob. For those of you that if you don't know who we're talking about, Bob Berg is a mutual friend of a lot of us that are on this show and watching. That's how Lisa and I met, was through the Go Giver Success Alliance that Bob Berg and Kathy Tajadil host. But it's that I've watched Bob do that for years. Everybody that posts a message about Bob, and I'll be willing to bet everybody that sends him an email, like from one of his emails that goes out, he takes the time and he lets them know he saw it. He replies back, and that's what I do too. And
I'm not as good.
it's just do what?
I'm better in person about like when we go to the convention,
Hmm.
I don't ever want anybody to say, I tried to talk to her and she was too busy, or she didn't take time and talk to me, or she didn't ask my name, or whatever it is. Live, I can do that. But sometimes, like if I put up a post and I get 60 comments or something, which isn't unusual, to reply to everyone, I start using GIFs and I'm like, I put little wavy faces or something because I don't, but he doesn't do that. He answers every single one.
Yeah.
I need to
Well,
be more like Bob when it comes to that because it makes perfect sense.
it does.
It's just hard to do.
Yep, I've hired some people to help me on a couple of areas where I just needed to be able to delegate some things off my plate. One
Mhm.
of them is someone's going to help me with some social media stuff, but I'm
Awesome.
always going to be the one that interacts with people. Always, that's just what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And I have learned something. I've learned a little secret, by the way. The secret is this: um, I can dictate into my phone verbally. I can say, I can do that little thing. I've got an iPhone, so I can touch that thing and speak. And every now and then it really messes up. So I have to make sure, especially if it's going on social media, that I check it
Yeah.
first. Because,
Yeah.
you never want to say something thinking that it's going to get it right. And then it sends out something and it was really wrong.
Yes, that would be really bad,
I,
depending.
I have sent text to people before that were really wrong. And then I'll send the correction. And usually it's just
Well,
a
you've
big
done
laugh.
that to me before.
I got so tickled, and I can't tell the whole story, but my wife Laurie, when she was a regional manager for Aflac, she had a guy that was one of her managers underneath her, and he was out working, and it was a really bad weather day, and she was proud of him for working, and he had sent her a message, and so she sent him proud of you for being out there working today, and it didn't come out that way. Siri put some bad words in it, and he replied back laughing, said, "You might want to check that." And when she read it, she was mortified.
I bet. Yeah, that wouldn't be bad.
Yeah, it was one of those real bad words.
So, back to this just for a second here.
Yep.
So my suggestion to everybody is not to wait to see how stuff is gonna work out, to think of publicity or, promotion or however you wanna think about it in your head, your marketing strategy. Think of it as a funnel that always has to be full. So,
Right.
I think of stuff coming down the road at me. So, I
Mhm.
wanna have stuff lined up months ahead that are coming down
Right.
the road. So, if I'm in a book or, have a chapter in a book or did have the whole book, I still want the next book coming down the pike at me because and the next article and the next show booked, because if you don't, a little gap ends up turning into a bigger gap. So you
Right.
have to always, I think, be after it.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yep.
So,
If you
and you're
when
already
those
doing that with the having your books lined up now. You're doing a time. That's awesome.
Yeah. And what's funny is when it starts happening that way, you kind of get in a groove, I guess, is the best way to
Yeah.
say it. So, and things are going well, and I can't complain about any of it. It's just you kind of get in a groove, and every now and then you have to remind yourself, okay, what days am I supposed to be working? So, what am I doing here?
Well, and I think when you're trying to line stuff up to make sure you always got stuff coming down the pike as far as publicity, um, you have to not let's see, not neglect thinking about it most of the time because you get engaged in what you're promoting and sometimes it
Right.
turns out good like the play or like the book and then I'm not thinking enough about what's coming.
Hmm.
I'm happy about what's happening.
Right.
So I think it's yeah.
Well,
because
no,
you
it's
get
very
to thinking, oh, it's not going to be as good as what I'm doing right now because this has turned out great. But then
well, you know,
you can't think that way.
that it's very similar to what happens to salespeople. It doesn't matter what industry. It can be in direct sales. It can be in any type of sales. But what happens as a rule is your results generate something positive, but or your activities will generate something positive, but there's a drag or a lag behind that
Hmm.
in the insurance industry. I always felt like it was about a 2 week lag time. If I made initial contact with a company and was in the door and all that, by the time that I could actually get that company enrolled and all that, it was usually about on one that went really well, it's about a 2 week lag time,
Yeah.
and then you were getting paid for what you did. And I would teach new salespeople. I said, there's a phenomenon that happens is salespeople will go out and they'll really bust it hard, do a lot of activity, get a lot of things going until they make a paycheck, and they go, "Whoo! I got this paycheck now. I'm fat and happy," and they're okay with it. But when they land that new account or they make that big sale, their prospecting drops, and your income's going to follow your activity and what we did at about a 2 week stretch, but it follows it in every direction. So when your activity level is really high, a couple of weeks later, your income's really high. But when that happens, your activity drops off to zero. A couple of weeks later, your income drops off to zero. And it's
Yeah.
the same thing about promotion like this. You have to stay after it constantly. Because if you don't, you'll find yourself going through that, and if your promotion is bringing in business to your door, that income's going to happen that way.
Yeah, I hate that when I look up and all of a sudden I got nothing coming down the pike. It's like,
Right.
oh, oh, yeah. But yeah, that's the way it is. So that's true if you're just selling too, selling
Absolutely.
and repping for another company.
Right.
Because in reality, I don't think that you can say I know people say to me, the only reason that I'm considering myself a brand separate is because I do books and stuff. They don't realize I started doing all that stuff to promote the original business. That's
Right.
why I've got paid so much all these years doing that
Right.
because it was to make my name known for that company,
Right.
and then it blossomed from there. So I think it all works back and works towards the same goal.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And and I think you have to think that way, even if you've got a normal 9 to 5 job and you're working for somebody else and
Well,
it's
that
not
you're the
necessarily
brand.
who you be. You're the brand. And you can't look at it like that mean old employer. You have to look at it like, okay, I'm my brand. I'm choosing to sell my time to this company for X amount per hour or X amount of a salary. And in doing that, what I'm delivering as my brand is the work that I'm doing for them Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, whatever the situation might be. And I don't know where I picked that up, but I picked that up when I was pretty young. And I always, even when I was working for other companies, felt like I was working for myself and selling them my time. And so when I later on became self-employed, it wasn't necessarily the smoothest transition because I'd gone into some stuff before that didn't work out real well, but it was a much smoother transition because that's the way I'd always pictured myself.
Well,
So,
and I think the people that do end up being in management positions and paid more money,
well, you're probably right
don't you
about that.
think?
It
Right?
worked for
So
me.
that's true. Actual business branding, and in
Yep.
the comments, personal branding is as important as actual branding. Yeah, no,
Yep.
I think that's true. I originally was thinking about doing that stuff because I was one of in the heyday in the United States. There were 500. Actually, there was even I think there was a time there were 600,000 Avon representatives. And I'm one, and not only one, but I live out here in the remote reaches of New Hampshire. So,
Well, once they got electricity, it was a lot easier, so that's fine.
now I remember the day we got cable though. That was like a breakthrough moment in my life. Yeah. Did I tell you the one of the first things I saw was Garth Brooks. I didn't know about him at all. I know we both have a mutual admiration for him.
Yours
Uh,
is quite somewhat different from mine, but yes, we both admire him.
Thanks for pointing that out, right?
I even like that lady whose name we can't say on your show, but
You mean that woman he married?
that woman he married.
Anyway, when I saw him, what was it, GAC or CMT or whatever it was,
Right.
when we first turned on the TV, he was showing, he was on one of those as a rotation for the song. Um, I think it's Ain't Going Down Till the Sun Goes Up, which is one of your favorites.
It
But
is.
he was running around the stage in Ireland. It was from the Ireland one. And I'd never seen anybody singing in a concert where they're running around and they're swinging on a rope and they're all doing stuff. So I was like amazed right there from that. So
Yeah, I love I love that song, "Ain't Going Down Till the Sun Comes Up," and you know what? I can kinda sing that one.
that's your
I can't
karaoke
hit the high notes, so I don't
go-to,
do it
isn't
too much, but
it? What's your
hey,
karaoke go-to?
are you ready? 6 o'clock on Friday evening, mama doesn't know she's leaving till she hears a screen door slamming, rubber squealing, gears a jamming, local country station just a blaring on the radio. Pick him up at 7, then they're heading to the rodeo. Mama's on the front porch screaming out her warning, "Girl, you better get your red head back in bed before the morning."
Awesome.
I channel my inner Garth. There's a song of his that you and I, we've done it. I think I've even done part of it on the show. Gosh, we've been doing the show a year and a half now, but a long time ago
Mhm.
now. And but yeah, it's Kicking and Screaming, and I
Oh, that's my
absolutely love
favorite
that song.
because you can do the growl. That's why it's
Yeah, I love that
yeah.
song.
Is that the
With
one you
Laurie and I
picked?
were on a trip to Florida, and there was a karaoke night one night, and I got up there and did that one. If they've got that one, I'll karaoke.
Oh, that's the one? Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Oh, I've never done karaoke. I can see you doing it though. You'd be
If
good.
we if we go do another book signing somewhere at some point, we need to get karaoke going, and we'll do one together. I'll drag your ass up,
Oh, no. You
your
don't
blue head up
you
there.
don't you blew it. You don't understand the situation. I don't sing. But
That's okay.
yeah,
I don't either.
right.
So,
No, I mean, I sing and I can sing really loud and everything. It's just that it's not good. The pitch is not something I write, right. So,
well,
oh,
if they would do karaoke where you're actually in the shower, I mean, I don't want people to see me, but in the shower, I sing great. I'm amazing in the shower. I just am.
well, see, I don't sing. I sing in the shower, I do, but it's driving. When I'm alone, which I prefer. No, that's not nice. Because I said, then I can be like the backup singer, the front man. I can be the whole thing
Yeah.
and sing as loud as I want.
Well, sometimes
So,
there's a playlist on my phone. I've got a playlist called Get Sleepy, and I got a playlist called Get You Going. And then the morning,
get you
sometimes
going.
Get You Going, Getchagoin, and it's got some of my favorites. It's got Santana, it's got Garth,
Oh,
it's got a lot
nice.
of peppy songs, including uh, just some of my very favorites.
Hey, I want. You'll need to copy that list and give it to me. I'll make some more Spotify
Okay,
playlists for you.
I wonder if I could
Yeah,
just
'cause
share
that's
that playlist with you somehow from my phone, so you've got the whole thing.
you
I
can
don't
even
know.
do a screenshot of it and send
Okay.
me screenshots, and I'll make the playlist and send it out. Lisa Gale wants to know if you have Jelly Roll on that list.
I don't, but I have done Jelly Roll songs before.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Nice, nice, nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
my new favorite song is the Justin Timberlake one. Selfish.
Which one?
That's my new favorite song.
You know what? It's funny. I literally don't know any artist that started doing their stuff after about the year 2000. Don't know any of them. And
Oh,
and so I have my play. I think it's 40 something hours worth of music on my phone. I don't even listen to the radio. I just listen to my phone if I'm going to listen to music.
oh. So you don't
So
know who Justin Timberlake is?
well, I know the name and all that, but I probably couldn't pick him out of a lineup. I'd probably get him confused with one of those Backstreet Boys or NSYNC
I could
boys or
pick him
whatever.
out. I could pick him out.
You know, one of my favorite actors is
Oh,
actually also a musician, and it's Donnie Wahlberg. Uh,
oh, yeah.
he was in New Kids on the Block,
Well,
and
Justin Timberlake was in that movie Friends with Benefits.
I don't know.
You're like, you didn't see the movie?
I don't I don't know if I have. Maybe I have, but
You're working too hard.
Donnie Wahlberg is just an awesome actor, and
Yeah,
he's been on Blue Bloods. This is Blue Bloods last year. It's making me sad. I've been watching it now for 14 years, but he's
yeah.
on there.
Tom
Great
Selleck.
actor.
Tom
Tom
Selleck.
Selleck is the closest thing we now have to a John Wayne. He really is.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I still Magnum PI with the short shorts is you can't beat that.
hey, I know we're getting toward the end. Can I promote something real quick?
Please go right ahead.
Anybody listening to this, if you are an entrepreneur, if you've got a small business you run, so you're trying to develop that, or if you are in sales, and it can be direct sales or any other type of sales, I'm going to encourage you to check something out. And I know this is going to be an investment if you do it. But Bob Berg and I, along with Kim Angeli, are going to host a live in-person event in Florida, in West Palm Beach, Florida, June. The actual event is June 3rd and 4th, but we're going to do a fun party the night before, and I'm even going to line up a Dixieland band for that party because it's
Whoa,
centered around the new book, and the
that's
event's called
awesome.
Saleswise Live 2024. If you are not already on my email list to get the information about it, go to jeffcwest.com and just sign up for my newsletter. It'll get you on my email list that goes out. If you're already getting emails from me, you'll get the communications on it anyway. I'm going to encourage you to invest in yourself and go. This is going to be one of those events that can totally change how you do your business. It's going to have the stuff that a lot of it Bob's been teaching forever. A lot of it I learned through Bob and then made my own spin on it. And a lot of my stuff that I've taught forever. And Kim Angelia is just awesome. So it will be
That's
well
going to
worth
be
your time. It's
amazing.
going to be in one of the most beautiful locations in the world with West Palm Beach, Florida. The hotel we've got everybody in that we're doing the event is called the Ben. It is just gorgeous. When we were there in January, Laurie and I went up to the rooftop bar. You could see the intercoastal waterway. You'd see yachts. You'd see the Atlantic Ocean in the distance. It's incredible. And just the deals we've already worked out for everybody. The hotel there is normally like $1,000 a night. That's the kind of hotel this is. And everybody that goes on our event, our attendees are going to get it for $269 a night. That's incredible. And they can extend it a few days past and stay. So anyway, I'm going to encourage everybody, even if it's not the right time, check it out and think about it for sure.
I don't know how you feel about that, but I love going to stuff like that. For one thing, it's tax deductible business expenses and education.
Absolutely.
But the more fancy the hotel, the more the experience is something I don't get every day in my life. The more I remember the lessons I learned at the thing too,
Right.
because all of it ends up being emotionally wrapped together.
There you go.
So I like it way better than like attending a seminar at the Motel 6 meeting room. Right. I like it better when we go someplace fancy and have a fancy meal all together or something, because then all of the lessons stick better.
Yeah. And you know what? You know why? Because it creates a fusion point.
Yeah.
When you've got all that positive emotional stuff that you're experiencing, and then you're learning something at the same time, that logic that's why you retain it more. Works every time.
The only thing I want to say is don't if you're going to go to an event, don't sit next to Bib, really.
Bib, if you watch this, or if you're not here now, if you watch it later, give her a hard time about this.
Well, we always get in trouble, right? Because some of it's my fault. I will take 85% responsibility because my main goal when I attend a meeting is to get shushed from the stage. Really, if I haven't got shushed from the stage, what am I even doing there? You know what I mean?
I used to get shushed in church.
Well, that's bad.
In the newsletter email series that I send out, this last one that went out yesterday, I was talking about that. And it was because when I do these emails, I want to teach sales things for entry-level sales. I want to teach entry-level management things, mid-management,
and they can get
CEO
on your
level.
Your email list at jeffcwest.com.
Yeah, just as you scroll down, they'll see, it says sign up for my Fusion Points Unleashed newsletter.
Okay.
It'll get them on my list. But most of our listeners may already be on the list. I'm not sure. But that email that went out yesterday, this morning actually, it was talking about how I would get called down in church by my mother. And but I remember one time the preacher had said something funny. I remember what it was. It was a Sunday evening. I went to a Baptist church in Georgia. We had church Sunday morning, Sunday evening, and Wednesday night. That's what we did. It's just what we did. Wow. Yeah. And I was sitting with a friend of mine. We were like on the back row, and we were in the 8th grade. It wasn't serious kind of thing, but we kind of liked each other and all that. And the preacher, he starts to pray. He says he was wanting to say, let's bow our heads and pray for those people in our church who are sick. But it came out, let's bow our heads and pray for those who are sick of this church. And she and I started laughing, and I couldn't stop. And he said, if you people in the back will settle down, I'll go ahead.
Oh, see, that's winning right there. That is what I hope for.
You know,
Yeah.
that preacher may not know it, but even Jesus was laughing at that one. It was funny.
That's a good one. Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, we get in trouble by and large, but hey, that's what's fun about going to meetings. So that's awesome. Well, I guess it's time to wrap it up because I've got to
yeah,
get to sleep so I can get up in the
y
morning.
you do.
Yes, I do.
I need to send Ty a message.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not gonna say it on here. All right, bye, everybody. We love you guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you, everybody. Love you all. Talk to you later.
Go get some coffee.
Your